Good morning. It's Monday, the 20th of April. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We're going to start our COVID task force meeting this morning at the board, and we're going to zoom in on the latest map. This is the map from Friday. It's the most current one we have. There's really only one thing in here that I want to focus on today, and I want you to look right here at Pinellas County. You can see that we pretty much have cleared out in terms of our COVID cases, which is a really positive sign. Okay, here we are back at the desk to take a look at the local numbers. In the state of Florida, we had 26,314 cases with 774 deaths. So it did go up over the weekend, but it is going at a slower rate. Here in Pinellas County, we jumped to 592 cases with 16 deaths. In Pasco County, they're at 205 with 3 deaths. So a good weekend for Pinellas County. We have 123 hospitalizations since this started. I started tracking this back on about 3/12, so those numbers of hospitalization for Pinellas County is really low, and even more importantly, only 16 cases have been reported in our zip code 33759. If you look at the United States, the numbers are 759,000, and we crossed 40,000 deaths this weekend. Shockingly high number. Half of those, nearly half of them, have come from the outbreak in New York and the surrounding area. The president on Friday and again over the weekend at his press conference has been talking about the way we are going to come out of this, and it's going to be in different phases. The Florida governor has announced that Florida will be one of the first 22 states to reopen based upon how he feels the state of Florida is doing in containing the virus. The governor right now says that his current restrictions are going to run through the end of the month, and so we might anticipate entering phase 1 sometime around May the 1st. In phase 1, there are some lessening of the restrictions. Non-essential travel is still going to have some restrictions. They are going to supposedly allow small gatherings, which would include sit-down dining as long as really strict social distancing enforcement was provided. It would reopen things like bars and gyms. It might allow for shopping, for routine shopping at malls and small individual mom and pop operated businesses, but all of that is still a week or so away. So we will continue to be diligent and to make sure that we're doing everything we can to comply with the safer at home guidelines and practice good personal hygiene and social distancing. A couple of other updates from various departments. The first is our dining service team is asking for you to please make sure that in your alcove outside your apartment door that you have provided a TV tray or a small table for us to lay your food on. We want to try to get away from placing it directly on the ground. If you think about that, people are shuffling up and down the hallways. They're kicking up debris, particles, contaminants, and that's exactly where your food is. So it's a better practice to get that food off of the ground and onto a table. We will continue to not hand you your food, but we would like to be able to place it on a table for you to pick up, because that's the best way and the recommended way to not have surface-to-surface contamination, particularly of food. This Wednesday, look for our campus-wide parade. It will be starting about 2 in the afternoon in the North Building, going around the campus. We call it our Miss You Parade, and this is our second week. You'll probably see a few more people out there making some noise and sending you best wishes to let you know that we're thinking of you and we do miss seeing you around the campus. Also this week, Jesse, our housekeeping director, is putting together an instructional video that will go along with the caddy of housekeeping supplies. So if you feel like you want to try doing some disinfecting, cleaning, sanitizing within your apartment, you can borrow the caddy with the chemicals and go to 732 and get an instructional video. We'll have a little bit more on that for you later in the week, but that is coming as well. The last thing that we wanted to focus on today, a resident had requested some specific training on the use and type of mask that people are wearing. And so we're going to go over to the end of the table and do some demonstrations. All right, so right here on the desk is the 4 types of mask that are common. The most common is the non-surgical mask. These do come, they're paper mask. They come as surgical and non-surgical. The primary difference is how many layers of protection or weave that exist in the mask. In the non-surgical mask, it is a single layer of protection that has the ability to expand out. We're going to talk about how to actually wear a mask. It is really important when you put on a mask to first make sure that you've sanitized or washed your hands, because anything that is on your hands is also transferred to the mask. When you put on a mask, there is a top and a bottom side. There are no arrows, and so how you distinguish the top from the bottom is along one of the long edges you will find a small piece of wire. That wire goes on the top side of the mask. So I've identified the wire, it's right here at the top. I've oriented the mask and I'm ready to put it on. There are elastic earpieces for all masks, and you start by placing it on one ear and then a second. The next thing that you need to do is pull the mask down and up to cover both your mouth and your nose. I've seen an awful lot of residents walking around like this. It's not effective if you don't get your nose in there as well. When you get the mask up above your nose, the next step is to take your fingers and along that wire mesh, you need to conform it to meet your face. If you do not conform the mask to meet your face, you can see how it meets my nose. The mask loses about 50% of its effectiveness. So form-fitting the mask to your face is an extremely important part of wearing the mask. The next mask I want to show you is this one right here. This is what you see most of the staff wearing. You can see it's already been conformed to my face. This is my personal mask. This is a double filtration mask, and the primary difference is it's made of cloth instead of paper, so it is reusable. It has a side, both sides are cloth, so it's 2-layered, and this has the adjustable straps to make a form fit tight. And so that's why it's a little bit better. It's reusable, and you can make it a little tighter than with the single ply mask. The next masks are those masks that individuals in our community are making, and they are volunteering. These are a couple of mine that the kids have made. You can see this is my Disney mask. Here is a Dallas Cowboy mask. Here's the important part about these masks. It is double filtered, but it also has an internal pocket where you can take a sanitized gauze package and insert it directly into the flap. What this actually does is gives you a filtration system that is closer to what is the gold standard of mask, because now you can see the layering. You have 2 layers, multiple folds with an inserted sanitation pad. So these are very, very effective if you use the gauze pad in between. Now, this is the last and most effective mask. These are very, very rare, hard to come by. This is what's called an N95 mask. It's truly the gold standard of mask. It's hard shell. Every N95 mask has to be labeled. If you have a mask and you're wondering, is this an N95 or not, you look for the labeling. Every N95 must be layered. An N95 mask is also unique in that it has an upper strap for tightness and a lower strap to keep the chin up tight against the face. These are the ones that are almost absolutely unavailable. The primary use is healthcare workers in hospitals who are dealing with active COVID case. Here at Regency Oaks, we have a pretty good inventory of supplies. We have probably 1,000 of the non-surgical single layer mask. We have about 200 of the layered mask. We've had over 100 of these donated and in inventory. So our staff has the ability to be safe and to make sure that they are not spreading the virus from staff member to staff member or to other residents as well. So that concludes our presentation for today. I hope you found it informative. Everybody have a great week, be safe, and we'll see you again on Wednesday.